you know what is what?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is Night of the Living Dead.
I think this was his last movie, right?
Second to
Feature
last.
film?
Second to last.
What was the final?
A Twin Peaks movie.
Okay.
But like, I think that one came out like in 2017, and this one came out in 2006. So he took a long break,
Mm-hmm.
I would too after I made a movie like this.
which is crazy because like he just passed away at like what 78.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's 2025. So that was like 19 years ago. So he was like in his 50s when he's like, I'm not going to direct anymore. And you got Martin Scorsese fucking looking like fucking a skeleton out there, just still directing fucking 12-hour movies and shit. It's like they called it quits early.
Yeah.
Fucking then Clint Eastwood just made a movie up. He's like 98.
Is he that old?
Yeah,
He's in his
dude.
90s.
He's
Clint Eastwood's mad old.
No way.
fucking old.
He's
Was
mad
it
old.
Cry Macho, I think, was the one that just came out.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, 94.
Yeah, dude.
He was born in 1930.
I mean, this dude was like a big, like, Western guy in like the late 50s, mid like
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah.
That was like him in his 20s. So like he wasn't,
And even in his 20s, he looked like he was in his 40s.
yeah, that dude looked worn. Fucking skin looked like sandpaper and shit.
He looked like he was an actual cowboy
Yeah.
during the Wild West.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Let's get started. Let me do our intros. All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Cults of the Living Dead. This week we are covering the 2006 cult classic Inland Empire. This is going to be our third David Lynch film.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, I didn't think a movie could get like more confusing than Mulholland Drive. I was very wrong.
It felt like every hour a new movie started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the voices you guys are hearing too is, of course, myself, the Dale, and my two co-hosts, Mr. Saya
Hola.
and Twan.
What up?
Just a quick reminder for returning guests and first-time listeners, we are a cult movie podcast. We cover cult classics, B-movies, and horror. None of us are academically trained in film critique. We all love movies, so these opinions are subjective, and enjoy the ride. Yeah, dude, it felt like this movie was like three movies that were like combined in one, and then you just hit like a randomizer button on the scenes, and like that's just that was the movie.
Yeah. I was surprised because I didn't know anything about this movie, and I was looking up stuff and still kind of am looking up stuff. And I was surprised to see that this marked a first for Lynch in that he did this whole movie without a completely finished screenplay. So this dude would just like be chilling, have a dream about a scene, and he'd be like, this is it. I got to film it. So he'd go out, film it, and then, it eventually made its way into the movie.
Yep. Pretty crazy.
So
pretty crazy way to make a film.
I think that's why it definitely feels like that in a way. I kind of understand though, because the things that I've seen, I had to like watch videos after because I was like, what the hell did I just watch? And I mean, I guess it kind of makes a little bit of sense, but we're gonna talk about this for sure.
I saw one video and then I read a few like read some people's interpretations, and like everyone just interpreted it like completely different than the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those movies. I mean, I saw it today, so I'm like fresh into it, and I have no fucking idea what I just watched.
I had a busy week, so I had to watch this movie in parts. So I saw it in 3 parts.
Oh shit.
I saw like the first 40 minutes Wednesday. Then I saw the next like 2 hour and 20 minutes yesterday. And then I had a birthday dinner. And then I came back and I watched the last hour.
Damn. How was that experience?
It didn't make any more sense, if that's what you're wondering.
I feel like that makes it worse.
Yeah.
because there's so much time in between everything. So it's like you come back and it's like what happened in the last scene in the last like hour was a completely different like story.
One thing that I thought was interesting, we'll get into the cast and crew right now. Um, that Thoreau's character, Justin
Mhm.
Thoreau's character, like after
Uh,
the hour 20-minute mark, he's just like not in the movie anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it's
He's
kind of
just
crazy.
he's not in the movie anymore. Like you get one more scene with him, and then that's it. He's just not there anymore.
Yeah,
And there's still like an hour and 40 minutes left of movie, and he's just gone.
because it was never about him. I thought he was a main character, but I don't think he's really a
I
main
mean,
character.
I think he is. There's well, let's go through it. The IMDb is really weird for this one, so my cast looks crazy because they do it by the way the movie does it, which is in like order of appearance, which doesn't make any. I mean, people do it that way, but it's not indicative of like actually who's gets like film time. So the movie's directed and written by David Lynch. If you've been a long time listener, we've covered two of his movies in the past, being his first movie, Eraserhead, and what's considered like his magnum opus in Mulholland Drive. The music was by Marek Zabrowski. The cast, so the main actor, the person who basically is the whole story is kind of told through the lens of, is Laura Dern, who plays Nikki Grace slash Susan Blue. She's probably most famous for, if you've seen Jurassic Park. She's Doctor.
Ellie,
Dr. Grant?
No,
Or
Doctor
no,
Grant's.
no, I saw that. Never mind.
Oh
Don't
man,
listen to me.
I know a bunch of sexist ass dudes who don't know the chick,
Dr. Ellie something.
Ellie Goulding.
Ellie Page.
It's Elliot Page now.
Jurassic Park. Dr. Ellie Statler.
Dr. Ellie
That's
Statler.
who. Ellie Statler. Duh.
Yeah.
So she's like the main character. She kind of is like the force in this movie. Then we have Justin Thoreau, who plays Devin Burke and Billy Side, which is an interesting name. He was in the last Lynch movie we covered, Mulholland Drive, where he played the director in that movie. His most recent film that you probably know him for is Beetlejuice. He plays, get his character, but
Rory.
he's like the husband, right? Rory, yeah, Rory.
Rory,
He's like the
the
douchebag
boyfriend
guy.
trying to be husband.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's funny as fuck in the movie.
Mhm.
We have Fred Howard, played by Harry Dean Stanton. He was in Alien, The Green Mile, Repo Man, Twan's favorite movie. Jeremy Irons.
I know. As soon as I saw him, I was like, Repo Man. The dude's kind of been in a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff, dude.
Like,
I like him.
yeah, he's cool.
He's just fucking hustling money in this movie. It's fucking wild, dude.
Dude,
I could have been.
I was laughing so hard during that I actually wrote down his whole speech that he says when she asks him, "Are you having an enjoyable time?" I wrote that whole thing down because it's so fucking funny, and the way he delivers it was great. And then you see him do it again later to other people. Oh man, such a funny guy. I think he's
Yeah, that
my
was
favorite
pretty good.
character.
It was pretty good. We have Jeremy Irons, who plays Kingsley Stewart. He's the director in this movie. There's another movie being filmed in this one. There's a movie within a movie. He plays Alfred Pennyworth in like the destroyed DC universe. He was in Batman v Superman. He was in the Watchmen TV show. He plays the old version of
Adrian Veidt.
yeah, the world's smartest man.
Hmm.
And he was also one of the Musketeers in The Man in the Iron Mask, which I really like. Underrated Leonardo DiCaprio movie. And then we have two Polish actors who kind of pop up periodically throughout the movie. We have the Lost Girl, who I forgive me, I'm gonna butcher both these names. Played by Karolina Gritska.
Nice.
And then we have the Phantom, played by Christoph Madrazak.
Perfect.
So,
Beautiful.
dude, the Phantom character in this movie is. I was not expecting this movie to have like horror elements to it.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
there was a couple scenes that I was like, oh shit, that's disturbing.
Yeah. I think the and you mentioned who did the music, but I think the music also adds to it. I feel like
Mhm.
all of these movies that we've seen that have been done that have been done by David Lynch all have really great music or absence of sound that's like
Yeah.
associated with it. And I
Yeah.
think Inland Empire's use of music makes it perfect. Like it creepy and weird and just makes you feel like you're in a nightmare at some points in time. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. This movie is I felt um a little bit different, I think, musically than the other ones. I feel like there's way more like original music in this one.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Felt like David Lynch like really was just like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do in this movie. Because
Yeah,
he
this
wrote
is
like 4 or 5 of the songs that are in this movie.
I was just gonna say, like, this is the first movie that actually had like songs in it, like that were tunes, not just like sounds.
Like you think of like the In Heaven song from Eraserhead, and you have like 6 of those types of songs in
Yeah.
this movie.
Mhm.
So I'm curious how this recording's gonna go because this is right off the bat, this is a 3 hour long movie. It is long. I mean, it's so long, and my notes are all over the place because so much happens so quickly in this movie, and it bounces through like. I guess I don't think we're gonna be able to do the movie the way we normally do, but it seems like it takes place in like what, like 4 different stories are happening simultaneously.
I
It
think
feels
so.
that way.
Because we
Yeah.
have the Nikki story, which is she's an actress. Her husband's connected. He's connected to the Polish, seems like the Polish mob in some way.
Yeah.
And she gets this big starring role to work with this like Playboy, other big name actor. And they're doing a movie that was an old German movie that was based off a Polish folktale that was like some cursed movie.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
is where her and Laura Dern and Justin Theroux's character and Jeremy Irons all interact. So they
Yeah.
have that movie going on. And then we get transported within the movie where Laura Dern's character is playing her character Susan and Justin Theroux is playing Billy. But then simultaneously, Laura Dern is aware but not aware that she's acting in the movie but thinks it's real life, like she's getting lost in the role, kind of.
Hmm.
That's the second story. Then we have 2 Polish stories. One about some chick in modern Poland who looks like she's being like human trafficked or something.
Yeah.
And then a story that seems like it takes place in like Cold War Poland because the architecture and everything's like completely different.
Mhm.
So we have those 4 stories all happening at once while this weird rabbit family's thrown in. I don't know what the fuck they have to do with anything. But apparently they're from like these shorts that David Lynch did in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And so he just like reused those shorts and then did like a couple new scenes. But yeah, like that's thrown in there too. So those
Yeah.
are the 4 stories that are happening simultaneously to set the scene for the audience, because when we're talking, I think we're going to be bouncing around a lot. So
Yeah.
there's not going to be like a through line like there normally is when we're working through the movie. All right. So we set the scene.
Thank you for setting the scene. That's a very difficult scene to set for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Like,
confused
there's no.
myself talking about it. So I hope I did a decent enough job to simplify what the
I,
fuck's going on.
I actually watched the last hour of this movie with some friends on Twitch, because they wanted to watch what I was watching. So coming in 2 hours into the movie, there's only an hour left. I had to do what you did to set the stage, and I did such a bad fucking job. But it was like, I mean, you're coming in 2 hours into a movie and there's an hour left. Like you're gonna be confused regardless. But yeah, you did a good job of kind of describing everything that's happening all at the same time.
It is it's cool too, because since we've watched 2, well, before we get into it, what were you guys, I mean, we watched 2 Lynch movies, so I feel like we kind of knew what to expect going into this movie. I expected it to be like weird. I was expecting like a Mulholland Drive type experience.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was way more fucking avant-garde than I even dreamed to think it would be.
Yeah.
What were your guys' expectations going into it?
I mean, I don't really know what my expectations were. I don't think I had any, especially being that it's David Lynch. Um, I expected to be confused, and that was about it. I didn't watch any trailers. Had no idea what the fuck the story was going to be about, other than the little description that was on the streaming service. But yeah, no, didn't really know what to expect, and I think that's part of like a Lynchian type of movie is you don't know.
What about you, Seth?
Same. I I think I had mentioned before though that David Lynch um really enjoy not in I mean saying enjoy is so morbid, but he's done a lot of research in the Black Dahlia murder, and so I thought that this was the movie that like kind of is the Black Dahlia murder, but it's not.
I thought that was Lost Highway.
Yeah.
It
Did
is.
we
And
discover this the last time?
I know, but I forgot, and so let me keep forgetting.
Black Dahlia was all murdered in Hollywood. This movie's called Inland Empire. So like
I know. It just
like a completely different region of California.
a man can dream.
Oh my
And
God.
so yeah, I did kind of go into it thinking that it was going to be something about that, and I was pleasantly surprised that it was not that. And it's a departure from the one we just saw. It's like you said, it's way more like surreal.
Yeah.
I think that's a good word to sum everything up. It's really, really surreal.
It's so funny that you know where he got the title of the movie from? Him and Laura Dern were having a conversation, and like she was telling him how her husband like grew up in the Inland Empire.
Mhm.
And he's just like, I like those words, Inland Empire. And he just checked out of the conversation, and he's just like, I'm gonna call the movie Inland Empire.
Nice.
It's pretty
What a
funny.
guy.
Because it has absolutely nothing to do with the IE.
Nah, the only connection that I had, or that I thought was the conversation at the very end when she's talking about Pomona.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
Pomona's not even Inland Empire. But
It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's
that
not.
was the only like connection that I could make from the movie itself to the title of the movie.
I feel
Yeah.
like Pomona is one of the last cities in like LA
Yeah.
County before you get to the IE.
It is, yeah.
All right, let's get through it. Where to start? I love how this movie's beginning reminded me so much of Eraserhead with the like you hearing the piano scratch and then just an announcement of like this is like what was it like the longest running radio show in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and then we just boom, it's like black and white guys talking to a fucking this chick, and he's just like these two Polish people. We don't see either of their faces. Is that the Lost Girl, or is that a completely different character?
I think, and I feel like if I say this though, it's gonna push us a little bit forward into the story. But I think the Lost Girl
Fine.
is
We have
watching
3 hours to cover.
That's true. I think the Lost Girl is watching herself.
Right? That's
Yeah.
that's what a lot of it is, right? Because like,
Yeah.
I mean, that dude's so aggressive. He's like, "What do whores do? They
Yeah.
fuck," and then he just punches her, and then she like cries, and then she watches TV, and then it's like,
Yeah.
in color now. And I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And then it ships to the TV, and there's this rabbit show that's just like so weird.
Yeah.
Weird. I watched this movie with my wife. Well, she watched the first like 40 minutes that we saw. And she's like, that movie was so weird. She's like, you can finish it without me. I was like, oh, the part we saw was like the normal part of the movie.
Yeah.
It gets way weirder after like the first hour. Like after that scene and we get introduced to like Laura Dern's character,
Mm-hmm.
like it feels like kind of a regular movie for like an hour. It's like, okay, it's like a Lynchy movie, kind of like Mulholland Drive. There's like a through story arc.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And then what's the cutoff? I guess when she goes through that, when she starts having the affair, and then
Yeah,
the
when-
movie just goes bonkers.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's why I was saying every hour feels like a completely different movie.
The first hour was definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
I think it was the easiest to understand. It had like a through story.
Mm-hmm.
Middle hour fucked
except for
me
the
up.
beginning part. I think
Yeah, the beginning part was weird.
like this intro is a little hard to understand where it's coming from, because then like what's going on with those rabbits? There's 3 rabbits in an apartment, right? It's like it's
Yeah.
one who's ironing, wearing like a dress, a dude in a suit, a rabbit in a suit, and then another rabbit in another dress, but not a red dress. And the 2 rabbits are sitting on the sofa. The one in red is like ironing, and they're having some type of like conversation about something, but I don't I
don't follow the conversation.
Yeah, it's something about a secret, and then there's like a knock on the door.
Then the rabbit in the suit gets up and leaves.
Oh yeah, and then we follow the rabbit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy transitions where we follow a character through a door, and the door acts like a portal, and it takes us to like a different
place
part of the other 4 of one of the 4 storylines that we're kind of like following around.
Yeah.
The voice actors for those rabbits are Laura Herring and Naomi Watts
from
Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive, yeah.
Nice.
I like that he has the same crew of people just working for him.
And the guy is I didn't write the actor's name down, but he was also in Mulholland Drive.
Additionally, he filmed this all on a handheld Sony,
A handheld digital camera. That's right.
Yeah, handheld digital Sony camera, not an HD like 4K camera.
Digital.
It's like an old school camera.
It's a Sony DSR PD 150.
Hell yeah! So some of the scenes look blurry as shit, and it was hard for me because I already
quality's horrible.
Yeah,
it's bad.
My eyesight is not that good, so I couldn't discern if it was just my bad eyes or the camera, and I think it was majority of the time the camera.
Yeah, no, the camera work was interesting, and Lynch filmed it all himself. Like he didn't have a camera crew, which is
he was the guy.
He went all in, dude. He went like, I mean, there's a reason, I guess, why they say he's like a director's director. Like, but like he went all in, dude. I mean, he mostly financed the film himself, so I guess he could do whatever the fuck he wanted.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just start with the first story. So we get introduced to the first like main story of the movie with Nikki and so Laura Dern's character as Nikki, Justin Theroux's character as Billy / Everett, and Jeremy Irons as Kingsley. So when they're making the movie, what'd you guys think of this whole section of it with the whole husband of big inklings of a little affair brewing and this cursed movie that they're trying to make?
Right before this, though, before she gets the part of the movie, where Laura Dern gets introduced is where there's a woman who walks up to her door and knocks on it, and it's I'm blanking on her name, but she's from oh man, hold on, I gotta look this up.
Was she in Twin Peaks?
Yeah, she's in Twin Peaks. She's the mom from Twin Peaks.
That lady looks creepy. At first, I was like so confused, and then later on, they like talk about how her husband's like connected, and I was like, "Oh, is she like a mob boss's wife, or like she's like a head person in the mob?" And she's like pressuring her, being like, "Yo, your husband owes us, and like him getting you this part didn't come cheap."
Yeah, Grace Zabriskie.
Yeah, Grace.
I butchered that last name, but she's from Twin Peaks, and she does an amazing job of being this like really creepy woman.
She's creepy as fuck,
and I feel like she serves as almost like a warning to Laura Dern's character of like if you do this, this is what it's gonna get into. Like this is what's gonna happen. So I feel like
it says there's gonna be a gruesome murder, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like that set the tone. Like that was what actually really interested me in the movie from then on. The beginning portion, like all that, I feel like all that's the intro. This is the hook for me of when she comes in. And then the trippy thing is that it ends with her saying, you're not gonna know today or tomorrow. Tomorrow you're gonna be sitting over there, and she like points at a couch at the other side of the room, and Laura Dern turns and she sees herself over there, and then the next thing we know, we're in the next day and she has the role in the movie. So I thought that was super dope.
He does a lot of the like shifting in scenes in this movie. I like. I don't like the camera work like as a whole. I think it sucked, but the way he transitions from scene to scene, some of them are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That he does a lot of that, like putting the character in two places at once,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was pretty sweet.
And like the camera angles too, like in this scene where the visitor's talking, it's like super close up in her face, like fisheye in her face,
Yeah,
make it feel like really awkward.
And she was always out of focus, whereas Laura Dern's character was always in focus.
Yeah, she was.
I would. This got me hooked too because I was like, damn, is this gonna be like a Lynch mob movie? Like, is this gonna be like kind of like a more intense Blue Velvet? I don't think Blue Velvet was like a mob movie, but the main dude's like a maniac. So I was like, oh, this lady's fucking giving me crazy vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can do some crazy shit. I mean, crazy stuff does happen, but it's more like surreal craziness, like you said.
Yeah, I kind of took it like the way you were saying, where it was almost like a threat.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, like this lady was foreshadowing that Laura Dern's gonna get murdered gruesomely. It almost felt like the beginning of The Shining when he's meeting the hotel guy and he's telling him about like the gruesome death that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of
What it
got
felt like.
the same feeling. Yeah.
I kept waiting for it too because it does keep teasing us with the gruesome death is going to happen, and knowing like Lynch, he loves foreshadowing. So like I was waiting for it to happen, and there were so many times I'm like, oh, is this where fucking they're gonna get it? Is this the character gonna die here? And like it just wouldn't happen. It was just edging me, and I was like, fucking, I couldn't get there until the end. Also, we forgot to mention, but like, isn't the title screen or the main message of this movie is a woman in trouble?
Yeah.
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 So keep that in mind.
Who's the woman in trouble? Who is it?
I think it's a Lost Girl, but
all women.
I think it's
This is a threat.
I mean, we'll get to it when we talk about like the group of chicks, because like I'm interested to hear how that, but like their significance is supposed to be. I want your guys' opinion, but they don't come until like hour 25, hour 30 in the movie.
Hour 30.
They're a late game quest.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I took that the wrong way. I thought you were saying that this movie was 30 hours long.
Oh no, hour 30-minute mark. It's just all these NPCs just spawn.
Wait, I thought hour 35. Also, like you were saying, 35 hours later.
That feels like it. That feels like it.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the whole movie, I guess the whole movie segment? Because like we did say earlier, like from this point on, the movie is, I feel like, relatively easy to follow for the most part. Like it is like weird things happen, but we know they're gonna make these two stars. This is like an Oscar bait type movie. Also, one thing that to point out, where she lives, that mansion is the Doheny Mansion at Mount St. Mary's University, where I used to be an employee of.
Nice.
So this shouldn't have an effect on me, but I've been inside that mansion a fuck ton of times. Yeah. And it kind of took me out of the movie because I'm like, right above this scene, there's like desks and computers. This is where admin is.
Crazy.
That's why all the filming is only on the first floor because the second and third floor are all like office spaces.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful mansion though. It definitely looks as nice as it looks in the movie. But yeah, I was like, Chase Patrol there all the time. Which is pretty hilarious.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, you can say that you walked around the set of a Lynch movie.
Of a Lynch movie, yeah, that's true. Did you buy the Thoreau or the Nikki and what's his name, Everett? It's a weird name. No, Burke. Devin Burke. Yeah. Did you buy their chemistry and that they were kind of falling for each other?
In the beginning, no. Because I think Nikki even says, like, what are you doing? Like, we're married. Like, we're both married. But then also she says that in the context of her already playing in the movie.
Sue. Yeah, that's them rehearsing.
She says it as Sue. But I feel like when she was saying it as Sue, she was also saying it as, like, Nikki. Because I think right before that, they get the parts, and then they go on that TV show, and on that TV show, the host on there is like, "Oh, aren't you guys gonna like have an affair or something like that?" And they're both like, "No, like we're like married, and that's not gonna happen." So I feel like it. I don't know. I don't think I
Also,
didn't.
random William H. Macy spotting in this movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. For like
Just
2 seconds.
it's like,
It's
yo.
like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Shameless.
Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't think they were in the beginning, but I knew deep down inside that they were, because what conflict with this movie? Without that, I don't think this movie would have had a conflict to continue for another
That the announcer is
3 hours.
that's Laura Dern's mom.
That's actually Laura Dern's mom?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
They say something like mother and daughter, like it's used, and when they say mother, the camera focuses on her, and then when it says daughter, it like shifts to Laura Dern.
Nice.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that even in the dressing room, like his own people were like, "Yo, dude, like her husband, like don't fuck around with this chick." He's
Yeah.
like, "What are you
Yeah.
talking about? Like she's not even my type." He's like, "Nah, dog, like we'll kill you." He's like, "Well, she's got a great ass,
2 weeks in a row.
man."
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. He said
Oh,
she has a great ass.
yeah.
The Lost Tapes.
Damn, things happen in 3. That's fuck the lost tape.
Lost tapes. I like. What do you think of the name of the movie On High Blue Tomorrows?
What does it mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, dude, it's
I don't
just
know.
another one of those Lynchian things.
It's like he's like that sounds cool.
Yeah.
On High Blue Tomorrows. It's like I could just see Lynch being like, I don't know, it just came to me in a dream, you know? I was high on blue tomorrows in my dream and I just had to shoot it.
I think
Just
on high,
ripping cigs.
I think the only time anyone is referenced as being high is in the very end. And like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. They do use the color palette is interesting. Like at the end of the movie, red is a pretty like significant color.
Color. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then anything that's not like red, it's either that one house which is like a bright pink, or
Mhm.
everything's like a really muted white or gray.
Mhm.
I feel like this movie goes out of your way to kind of be unsettling.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me a little bit of the way he did it with Eraserhead, but Eraserhead it was all black and white. For this, he used color, I think, in a way that made me be like, "Ooh, I don't want to be there."
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do I mean, just going into it, I mean, and I already said it, like what does this mean? I don't think David Lynch wastes his time on anything, so I think everything in this
Meant
movie
something.
has some type of meaning to it. What that is, I do I do not know. Maybe we'll figure it out together as we're going through this, but or if any of the listeners know, send us an email or a comment, leave a comment on our stuff, come into our stream, let us know what you think. What does On High and Blue Tomorrows mean?
Well, let's break it up. Let's break it
On
up.
High?
Blue tomorrow. What can that mean? Like sad? Like you're gonna be sad tomorrow? Sad
Mm.
feeling for tomorrow? You're
Yeah.
You know
high on
what?
that feeling? You're high on tomorrow's sadness?
I mean, that makes sense because like the way we get
Oh.
the way the movie starts is like on the highs of emotion because they're like hot and steamy in this affair, and like Billy's putting the moves on Sue like big time, and then by the end of it, Sue has like really been put through the ringer, and she's like in a real like depressive state.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, I think nice.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of high notes. Her getting the part, you know, being excited for the part, filming the movie, and then yeah, we all know at like an hour 30, it turns into a blue tomorrow.
Yeah, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Man, that interesting the way you pointed out to how like Lynch doesn't waste scenes. I was going over my notes, and I forgot about the interrogation scene
Oh
where
yeah.
the chick is talking to the detective, and she's like, "I feel like I'm being hypnotized," and the detective's like, "Okay," like, "All right, well, tell me more." She's like, "I think I'm gonna kill somebody with a screwdriver," And I was like, right, this is such. I was like, this is such a random scene. Like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? Because it
Mhm.
comes out of the blue. It's like almost like a one shot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it actually does pay off in the end, which I think is interesting.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like this, because he didn't have a screenplay, he was just filming scenes as they were coming along, and so when you're watching it, some of
Doesn't
the
make
scenes
sense.
seem like they're like out of place, and they're like, why is this scene here, or like what is happening? But if you try to look at it in the long run, for the most part, most of them make sense. There's like some scenes that I don't understand that are like in it, but I think like that scene when the woman's getting interrogated, and we see later, I think that's isn't that that's the wife of Justin Theroux's character, right?
That's the wife of Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Billy's wife. And so
The
um
one thing that this movie does with all characters, not to confuse the audience, because we're going to reference people a lot, but every character has like different versions of themselves.
mhm,
So the chick being interrogated looks like she looks like, Billy's character is like a very rich person. Like he lives in the Doheny mansions, and his wife looks very elegant. In this scene, she doesn't look elegant. She looks like, she's been around the block a few times.
Yeah.
So throughout this, every character within this movie kind of has different personas, and this is that persona. But this isn't the Billy wife persona.
Yeah. There's another random scene right before the interrogation of Laura Dern or Nikki meeting what seems like it's her husband's family.
Oh
And
yeah.
then she's like constantly reiterating that she doesn't speak Polish.
Mhm.
mhm,
And like I wrote that down in my notes and I didn't know why or like what
The
that scene could have,
significance.
the significance of that scene. But talking about it, it's like, this is my head canon. Like maybe it's to tell us that she doesn't, oh, well, obviously it tells us that she doesn't speak Polish, but maybe the fact that she doesn't speak Polish means that she never understood like how she got the role. Maybe like there's a lot of conversations that her husband had with people that the higher ups. Yeah, I don't know. It was just another fucking random ass scene.
yeah.
No, yeah, I could see that because the other half of the movie is all in Polish.
mhm. Yeah, I got that too. I thought that because she doesn't speak Polish, this is also kind of happening to her because she didn't understand like the culture and the impact of things that could actually really unfold.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because we'll see later on in the film, like when Nikki's, well, I guess when she's Sue's character is kind of transported back and forth between Poland and the United States. It's kind of weird. But then simultaneously, the Lost Girl will also experience those exact same things that Sue experienced like earlier in the film, or the Lost Girl will experience it first and then Sue experiences it later on in the film.
Mhm,
There's like a weird parallel between the two. It's like they're like alternate universe versions of each other.
mhm,
Yeah.
I like the threat that her husband, I don't remember his name in this movie. Nikki's husband gives to Devin. He tells him
Mhm.
why instigate a need to suffer when he tells him that his wife's off limits.
mhm.
I was like, oh damn, dude. like why are you gonna make a decision that's just gonna hurt you? Don't do
Yeah.
it. I was
For
like,
real.
damn, that's a mad threat. Right after this scene is where the affair officially starts.
Yeah.
Because they have that scene together where Billy, so this is in the movie, invites Sue over to have a drink or to stay and have a drink, and she's like, "All right," and then they have a drink and they're chilling. Then they call cut, and then they're just kicking it there, and Devin's like, "Yo, you want to grab dinner?" And she's like, "Why? Are you gonna tell me you know this cute little Italian spot with great food?" And he's like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" And then after that, it's like, "Oh, okay." So she's like, she's down.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They very quickly went from being like, "Oh no, we're not going to do this," unfaithful to because aren't they having a sex like literally the next scene
Mhm.
Yeah.
where she's just talking through the whole scene and just saying a bunch of weird shit.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like
she's already like tripping out at that point in time. She already
it seems
like
like this because yeah, it's like, is this Sue or Nikki? And like, she doesn't even know.
Yeah, it's hard
Yeah.
to tell at this point. I feel like once she agrees to go meet him, the curse like immediately kicks in.
Hmm.
Like it's like instant lock on and like attack. There's no like load up time or anything like that. There's no like small haunting period. It's just immediately cursed and you just get lost in whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really touch on the curse aspect of it. Like I mentioned in the beginning,
Yeah.
that this film is cursed and that the two main actors of the German version were like murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's based on a Polish
folk tale.
Folk tale. But the Polish folk tale isn't really told. It's just said that it's a cursed Polish folk tale.
Yeah, and then that they try to make a movie of it called something in German.
47.
They didn't make it. They got murdered. So you think because in the folk tale the affair happens because it's Billy and Sue, the affair happens, and that's what starts the curse. So since the actors start to have an affair in real life, Nikki gets cursed.
Yes, and I think that
And Justin Theroux, I don't know, because his character disappears right after the scene.
I don't know.
We see him one more time.
He also gets confused like once, but
we see him a few more times after this, actually.
I thought he was also going to be part of the curse. Like he was also going to get cursed, but it's really focusing on Laura Dern's character and like she goes through it.
It seems like because I guess we should there's one important scene that we should touch on that happened before this, where they're having the private screen reading with Jeremy Irons' character Kingsley. It's Nikki, Devin, his right hand man, Stanton's character Freddie. He's just like he's a maniac. He just gets shit done. And then they're chilling, and then is it Freddie or Jeremy Irons? It's like, yo, who is that? And they see somebody like in the stage.
Yeah.
And they're like, no one's supposed to be here. What the fuck? And then Devin's like, well, I'm Macho Guy. I'm gonna go check it out. So he checks it out. He chases the character. They go through like a set door. It's just like a piece of wood, like it doesn't lead anywhere. And he's like, yeah, they disappeared in a place that's real hard to disappear from. I don't know what happened. Because that comes back later on in the movie.
Yeah.
Because some interstellar shit happens.
Yeah.
Yo, it does.
Yeah.
Good callback.
And then
Nolan take that from fucking David Lynch.
I don't think so, because it is it isn't. So then, like you're saying about the curse, it seems like Billy or Devin's character, like he's able to distinguish between what's the movie and what isn't. Or every time we see his character, it seems to be in movie form, and Laura Dern, Nikki is coming out of Sue like randomly.
True. Yeah.
Because when he's having sex there, he keeps calling her Sue.
Yeah.
But then she thinks she's Nikki.
Yeah.
And then that's why, because they both have that accent. Because when he's Billy, he has that Southern accent.
Yeah, and when he's himself, he has a English accent. But when we hear him talk, for the most part, I feel like he's always talking with a Southern accent.
That's true.
I guess that makes sense. I think I was just getting confused because in general it's a little bit confusing. But yeah, I think he's not like lost in it. He's getting lost because she's getting lost. So she doesn't know what the fuck is happening. So he's also like, where are we? Like what is going on? Because I think right after they start having sex, the next scene is her saying like, my husband knows. And then she backs up and she's like, wow, that sounds like a scene from the movie. And then everyone was like, wait, what's going on? And like Devin's character is like, wait, what is going on? Because he's also kind of concerned because now the husband knows.
But I think, oh yeah, that is part of the movie. Like that tripped me out because Laura Dern snaps out of it and she's like, I think our husband knows. And then the whole set's like, what? Like cut, like Nikki, what are you doing? Like that's not part of the scene. And she's like, wait, what the fuck? We're filming right now? I thought this was like real life. Like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
And that's where Billy's like, I took it as him thinking like, is this bitch going crazy? Or I guess, no, it could be like, wait, what are you talking about? Your husband knows.
I took it as that, like, oh my God, your husband knows? What do you mean? He's like
Interesting.
freaking out of like the
Yeah.
situation that's happening.
How did you see that scene, Twan?
I saw it like you. I saw it as is she fucking going
Like,
bananas?
is she Heath Ledgering it and shit? Like, is she
Yeah,
like
like,
too into the role?
Yeah.
yep.
She's like fucking Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Tropic Thunder, lost in the sauce.
He's the dude
Yeah.
playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Yep.
Because like even with the sex scene, she's kind of snapping out of it because she's like into it, and then when she's talking to him, it's like, wait, she's talking in a way that she's like cognizant of the fact that they are cheating, but she's not sure which affair this is, if it's the movie affair, the real life affair.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because the bed they're having sex in that's not the same bed in the pink house, is it?
I think it looks similar to the same bed as in the pink house, and the same bed that
She sees when she goes upstairs at the end, right?
yeah, which is the bed of
Her husband.
I think that's
slash the Phantom.
that's the phantom / husband bedroom. So they're all kind of connected. Can we go back to my favorite character, because I feel like his scene passed and we're never going to see him again.
Oh, where he's asking
Yeah,
for
we-
money?
Yeah, we
Stevie,
did pass
go
that
for it.
scene.
Run,
Yeah.
run us
Oh
through it.
man, okay. So Freddie is like the right hand man, like he's the assistant to Jeremy Irons, Kingsley Stewart, and Nikki and Devin are like in the background. They're getting ready to go up and do their scene, so they're just sitting on some chairs, and Freddie's sitting behind them, so they're in like a small triangle. Devin says to Nikki, like, you've been really like enjoyable, like watching you act has been amazing. And then Freddie says, yeah, enjoyable, that's the word. And then Nikki turns to Freddie and says, Freddie, are you enjoying yourself, Freddie? And Freddie turns to her and says, do you want me to read the whole thing? Can I read the whole thing?
Read
Go for
it.
it.
This whole thing's so fucking hilarious. So, are you enjoying yourself, Freddie? Freddie turns and says, well, there's a vast network, right? An ocean of possibilities. I like dogs. I used to raise rabbits. I always loved animals, their nature, how they think. I've seen dogs reason their way out of problems, watch them think their way through the trickiest situations. You have a couple of bucks I can borrow? I have this damn landlord. He went through this whole fucking thing and got some money out of it. And that's him enjoying himself.
It's so funny because he
So
gets the
great.
money, right? And
He
then
does.
and then he just stares at Devin.
Yeah.
Devin just like stares at him and looks away, and he's like, oh fuck, all right. Like he gets him some cash too.
So good, dude. I love it
Like,
so much.
there's a lot of references to animals in this because later on her
Fun.
Hugh's husband also references that he's good with animals and he's gonna go like work at a circus or something, no?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What happened?
And there's the rabbits on the TV show.
And then is this where and then I couldn't figure this out. 'Cause I don't know if it mentioned it and I missed some dialogue. I don't know if you guys know where she keeps coming across this door that says like Axion on it.
Axon.
Axon.
I think
Yeah.
that's the longest running radio TV show that they announced in the very beginning.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, I missed that then. I remember him saying that, and then I was like, what did that TV show have to do with anything? It doesn't really come back into play, but it was that door the whole time. Okay. Oh yeah, because this is where she does the like because after this is where she tells Billy, she's like, I think she knows your wife. The whole fucking Basic Instinct scene. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And then
Scary Movie 2.
Scary Movie 2. And then she fucking goes through the wormhole, right? When she goes through this door.
Yeah.
She ends up like in the stage, seeing herself, Billy, Jeremy Irons, and Freddie's character talking. And then that's when I love Laura Dern's character. I think she does a good job in this movie of being also visually like confused and being like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like she
Yeah.
seems like she's like on the verge of madness, like throughout this whole movie.
Yeah. Yeah, her what the fuck face is a really good what the fuck face. And it's just consistent all the way through. You can see
Yeah.
in the very beginning when she's talking to the visitor, to this scene when she's looking at herself, to like later on when we get some other crazy shit dropped on us.
I mean, I feel like it's this part of the movie where it just goes fucking
I think
bananas.
This is hour 2. I remember pausing to go to the bathroom And this is where hour 2 begins. So we
Yeah.
finished hour 1.
Finished hour 1. Hour 2 kicks off. She goes through this like wormhole. She escapes. She can see Billy through the window, which is interesting because it's a prop. So like if you guys have ever seen a stage prop, it's just like a piece of plank wood supported by some anchors, but it's like hollow. Like you open the door and you're just like, there's no room. But Billy can't see her. She can see him. She knows her husband's in that area, like on the hunt. So this is where I thought, I'm like, oh shit, is this where Billy's gonna get got? But he doesn't. So I was like, okay. And then she ends up in that same, then she goes through the door again, ends up in the room where she was fucking. Then her husband's there. So you know she was fucking in her marital bed because that's where they sleep and they're sleeping back to back. And like, damn, trifling asshole. And then she opens her eyes and she's in this pink house. And then there's just all these chicks in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to figure out who the fuck these women were the whole time. What did you guys think? I thought they were victims of the Phantom, like previous Phantom victims, and they're all trapped in like this weird purgatory. What do you guys think?
I think number one, I think they were sex workers. And they
or they're human trafficked women, maybe?
Yeah. And they all have
the Phantom's just the gangsta.
The same story, like the same ending, and it's all like the same kind of story in a way with all
they're all like kind of like, I thought he loved me.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, they all got fucked over. I don't know if they all got fucked over by the same dude or they all just got fucked over by a dude.
Yeah.
They're all just trauma bonding.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think this part is definitely about trauma for sure. Like their shared experiences together. And then she like ends up becoming one of them, right? Or she was always
one. She just lives there now.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of her home base for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Like she never goes back to the Doheny mansion except for one time to confront Billy's character as Sue in front of his wife and child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it seems like her husband left her, right? And so that's why Nikki now lives with these like whole group of people.
See, that was the part that was confusing to me because like every time we never see her like gangster husband after this.
Yeah.
Every time we see him, it's like him being like the poverty husband, like them being like this like poor couple.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a house, so how poor could they be? But I don't know how easy it is to get a house in Poland as compared to the United States. But if you have a house in the U.S., not too poor, I guess you'd be house poor. Well, they have like a house, so it's like they're on the rocks. But I don't know, is that house the same house where all the chicks are?
I don't think so because there
I
are
don't think it is either.
Different like color palettes.
That's what I was thinking.
They might be though, because isn't later on someone comes looking for money and they're like, "Don't you know the man who lives here?"
Yeah, but then like when that happens, doesn't she look outside and like every time she looks outside, the scenery changes. Sometimes the door takes her to like Poland in the snow. One time it takes her to see the Phantom when he's like her neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Another time it takes her into like LA proper, like downtown. So like it seems like that house is like this weird nexus portal that just takes her to all these different areas that are all the stories because she keeps popping out of each story like throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Or she's witnessing a story. It's like it goes bananas.
In like a similar house. Yeah.
Yeah, because she sees herself like a gang at times.
Mm-hmm.
Like a gang at times. Though that's interesting about the chicks though. So they're trauma bonding, possible sex workers / trafficked women, all victims of the Phantom. Was the Phantom an actual Phantom or was he a pimp? Or I guess a human trafficker. I guess it's not really a pimp.
Or is the Phantom just like a man? Like any man can be the Phantom in this story. Any man could be a Phantom to a woman in the story. So maybe. I think it's like that. So like the version of the Phantom that we see is the Phantom for these different women within the story.
So for me, I thought they were all victims of the curse.
Well, the curse. I feel like the phantom is the same with the curse. Like the phantom comes with the curse. You get cursed, you get a phantom.
No, I know that's what I was thinking because it seems like all the women who aren't Laura Dern's character are all trapped.
Yeah.
Like the Lost Girl's trapped, and like we know this whole thing is based off like a Polish folklore, right?
Mm.
So it is a possibility that other people can get cursed outside of people who try to make a movie, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry. What kept replaying in my head was like Oprah Winfrey going, "You get a phantom, you get a phantom, you get a phantom."
I mean, he pops up a lot. He never really says anything.
He doesn't. He's just all phantom, dude. It's all phantom, no man.
Is this when they're all just like talking about their tits and she shows her tits and she's like, I got great tits. I think I can keep them. Or is that another time?
I think it was this time.
Because they all sit and just have
Maybe this time.
conversations and just talking about life with Laura Dern's character just like witnessing the conversation
Mhm.
Yeah.
and not really participating in it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. She's always a witness.
But they acknowledge that she's there. There are times I feel like where she's in places and she doesn't get acknowledged. But
Yeah.
it seems like around like the group of sex workers, they acknowledge her.
Yeah.
But then she ends up in another random house and she's making breakfast.
Yeah. But is this when she starts calling herself Sue?
Yeah. I think from this point on, we don't see Nikki for a long time.
Yeah. So what if then?
Was this all the movie?
Yeah. What if then she's just in the movie at this point in time?
That's what I was thinking after they wrap in the Terry Crews scene. After they wrap, I was just like, oh, was she Nikki was that the movie the entire time where she's just coming into consciousness of like different scenes within the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like is she just lost in the sauce?
That might be it too. It might be that she like because they're still making the movie throughout this whole thing. The movie that for some reason doesn't stop, even though their lead actress is actually tripping out and like losing herself within the movie. So
I mean that could be a thing that happens in Hollywood though. Like you hear about these like method actors.
That's true.
And it's like, oh, he was in the role the whole time. Imagine a guy you met day one, you just talk, you have a beer, maybe you have a croissant, and you guys are just kicking it. And then the next day he's locked in. And
beer and a croissant.
And he's acting like George of the Jungle 24/7. Just like a straight like monkey man, just like on a sick one. Every time you talk to him, he's speaking like a weird broken English. He's like never wearing a shirt, like just crazy shit. So maybe directors are like, oh, it's their method, you know?
Yeah.
Like you got Robert Downey Jr. trying to show people tricks on stage, and everyone's like, yo, dude, like chill out. I'm just like, I just get the coffee, like relax.
I'm sorry. A beer and a croissant. Next time we hang out, we're having a beer.
Dude, that sounds like a delicious combination. It's bread and butter with a nice beer.
Yeah, maybe like
okay.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. We're gonna live
old breakfast beer.
Yeah.
So what if when it transfers and she's the Polish chick, that's just her being like, that's when she's in her Meryl Streep mode. She's just like Academy worthy performance. It's like you're actually seeing the girl who did it.
Oh, so
just
I
acting
think
the fuck out of that scene.
I think that it is Polish. Well, she is Polish, but she doesn't speak Polish. She's in Poland, but she doesn't really speak it. And so but I think that could be part of the movie. Like
I don't know. I was just saying that because I don't think the Polish scenes are actually the movie. I think the movie's what happened in Poland just filmed in LA.
I think that the Lost Girl and some of the Polish stuff is the same is like the original story.
Yeah, definitely the original story.
And then the movie and then Laura Dern's life, like her normal life, are
reenactment.
Or the reenactment and her real life, like going at the same time.
It's the what's that Shakespeare movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and they're like in Venice Beach and they're all gangster?
Romeo.
Isn't that Romeo
plus
and Juliet?
Yeah, it's that
Oh yeah,
version
Romeo
of
plus Juliet.
Yeah,
it's that version of the Polish story, but in LA.
yeah, yeah. I could see that. But was in the movie version though? Was she Polish?
No, she's
Oh,
a
okay.
country because
Oh,
she's
that's
like a
right. That's
Southern
right.
girl,
Yeah, you're right.
like a
Yeah.
Southern Belle.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we're putting this together, guys. We're almost.
Did you think that this movie was like a period piece, like the Southern movie, and then like she ends up in downtown LA, and you're like, oh, is it not a period piece? It's like,
Yeah.
why is fucking Billy's character dressed like a plantation owner like
Yeah.
the whole time?
Yeah. I did. So I had originally thought it was really going to be like a whole period piece, but it was a completely different movie.
I even wrote down when they're doing the gazebo scene, I'm like, are those sunglasses period accurate? Like, why is she wearing these sunglasses?
Yeah.
But I guess it wasn't period piece. It took place in modern days. He
just
just liked dressing like that.
Yeah. Fashion, dude.
Oh man. Yeah, it's this movie's. I feel like it gets really hard to follow from here. Like it just keeps shit happens and she's back at the house. Shit happens and she's back at the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. My notes are Polish people scenes. Cut to girl watching TV while crying. Cut to rabbit. Cut to Nikki walking up flights of stairs. It's like so many things just in sequence. Boom, 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 boom. We're just hit with all these random, well, semi-random scenes.
So that's another thing that hit me too. Good that you brought up, Twan, with the girl watching the TV, because that does happen periodically throughout the movie, and it's just like, oh, is that supposed to be a reminder that this is the movie and this chick in Poland is watching the movie? Because she's like crying when she's watching it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, so like that's a fake story. The Polish chick, the lost girl, she's the real life person. Everything else that's happening with Laura Dern's character, that's the make believe world. But then they intertwine at the end, so it gets a little confusing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, like the rabbit scene was the rabbit going and sitting at the desk that Nikki eventually ends up at when she's
Yes.
walking up the stairs.
That's Jack Rabbit. That's his name.
Oh, Jack Rabbit.
Yeah, the guy who the guy with the glasses.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the rabbit. So when he comes, that's him leaving
Oh,
their rabbit world. It's supposed to be him leaving their rabbit world and coming into our world.
Mm.
oh, okay. Huh.
So that's supposed to be the same character, the rabbit and that dude, who
Nice.
she's telling her whole story, her like life story to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind
So
of looks
who-
like video game donkey.
He did.
Kind
He
of,
did look
yeah.
like Donkey.
So who was that? Who is the guy with the glasses then? Like what was his purpose in was he just there for the movie? Like was that Sue telling that guy her
Yeah,
whole
that was
story?
Sue talking.
Oh, okay.
Sue
So-
had some crazy
Mm.
stories.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
So in this movie version, Sue goes to like a therapist and like talks to him about like all of her life problems after being like stalked by the woman with the screwdriver. Right? 'Cause
Yeah.
that happens
Yeah.
first.
hmm
Okay. Okay, we're almost there.
Yeah, there's a lot that happens because
Yeah.
like she ends up back at home base with the chicks.
Mhm.
And then from it's like weird. She like talks to the girls about every time she talks with the women, they're always talking about like their down their how they got in that situation. I think this scene is where they actually show the tits and they talk about like how they were bad in love and maybe this one's gonna stick. And then when it jumps back to Sue's character, like their living condition has gotten worse. I think this is where her husband's like, I'm gonna fucking join the circus and like take care of
Yeah.
animals.
Oh,
And she's
yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then I think this is where they tell her about her neighbor, and then she goes and visits him, and that's how she gets the screwdriver. Because
Mm.
he just looks like a maniac, just staring at her with a light bulb in his mouth.
That's the Phantom, right?
That's the Phantom, yeah.
The Phantom is her neighbor.
Yeah, I forget what his name is in the crypt or something. And then this is where we get our first instance of Red, because she picks up the red phone.
Mm-hmm. Is this also the scene where it's her running up to the camera with a huge smile, like an abnormally huge smile?
Does that happen here? No, that happens.
It.
I wrote
That
it down.
happens after.
I think that happens after.
Oh, okay. That
But-
creeped me out.
Yeah, that was a pretty creepy part.
That was creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot that happens here. We briefly mentioned her conversation with the rabbit guy because that does happen right before this. What did you think of those stories?
It was a lot. She went through so much trauma. So
Yeah.
much trauma. Even though it's a movie, but the movie was based on something. So one of these people had so much trauma that they had gone through. And also it's hard to tell if that was like actually Nikki or Sue at this point, right? Because
That's what I was thinking. Because like Nikki's married to this like rich dude, lives in a mansion,
mhm.
and yet I'm meant to believe that she gouged the guy's eyes out, who was like, like trying to like. Will we get demonetized if we say that word?
You can, force himself upon her.
Yeah, force himself upon her, and like, then she's like, then I like punched him in the nether region so hard that like he was crying, and I was like, damn, this chick's kind of a badass. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And
And
then
she kept saying like he was crying like a little baby.
yeah.
She kept referencing that he was a baby.
He's like, then the cops come and they're like, what happened? I'm like, he reaped what he sowed. And I was like, oh, dang. And then the cop was like, well, he must have been sowing something nasty.
Yeah,
And I was like, what?
that was a hell of a line.
Would a
Yeah.
cop react that way? I don't think so. He'd be like, yeah, what? Is that an eyeball? Is this where the chicks do their dance? Like, what was that all about?
I thought that's towards the end.
It might be towards the end. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I know Nikki, is this where Nikki tells the husband that she's pregnant?
Yeah. Yeah. She tells him she's pregnant. She just tells him, though, we don't get the realization of why that's significant until after. Because she tells him she's pregnant, and he's like not happy about it.
Mhm.
And she's like, what, are you not happy? And he's like, oh, I'm just like surprised is all. And then we see the red phone. And when she calls, the phone rings in the rabbit world.
Yeah.
So it's like, who is she calling? Then this is where she sees Billy, and we see Billy for the last time. Because she goes to the Doheny mansion and like confesses her love to him. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know you. Leave. Wrong number. Because like her wife's like, what is going on? And their kid's there and their butler and shit. And he's like, I don't know. This bitch is crazy. You gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Which is funny because she said she wasn't gonna fall in love with him, and she did.
I feel like a lot of those situations are pretty hard, especially for actors that are like really into the role. That's why you have a lot of these celebrities marrying each other.
Yeah, because you got that they have that chemistry.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are actors, so you're faking it.
Hmm.
Fake it till you make it. No, but this is the movie though, right? That was the movie. That wasn't like real life because he wasn't married. He was like a playboy.
Oh, it is the movie.
It is the movie. Because she keeps calling him Billy, not Devin. And he keeps referring to her as Sue. Because we know that he has a wife and a kid. Because when they have the drink, he's like, oh, the wife and kid are gone. And that's when he pours her the drink. And then I don't know. This is it. This is where she like spirals big time. Because she gets,
Yeah.
Because she loses her marriage because she's pregnant. I think that's why she runs to him because she thinks it's his kid. And he's like, I had, been there, done that. Well, I'm not losing my family for you, girl.
Mm-hmm.
He dips. Because we find out afterwards, much later, that her husband's like infertile, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in I think
the third act.
Yeah, that's the final hour.
I wrote something about a chemical factory polluting the air, giving people bad dreams, and people were hallucinating. That when she's having a conversation with those two random chicks outside?
Nah, that's when she's talking to the therapist, Bunny.
Oh, because that's right. There's a couple instances where we're back in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's right.
She goes back up.
That story of like a town that
with the bad air,
that's like
polluting
getting
the air, bad dreams, and hallucinating.
That sounds like an awesome story for another movie.
It does.
Like that sounds really cool. Like you can make like like a whole town, maybe like a mining town that like accidentally hits something and like the whole town just starts tripping out. That sounds really dope.
It's like
But then
sounds like the premise of the Crazies.
yeah, I like that movie.
Yo. Yeah.
It's not a great zombie movie, but I liked it.
It's
With
cool.
Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oliphant?
Justified.
Yeah.
That's a good show. Oh, because it's crazy because she says that story and then we get moved to another location and this is her husband's like barbecuing with his like carny friends
Yeah.
and he just spills
I
an
think that,
obscene amount of ketchup
yeah.
and he asks those and she looks at those two girls. I wrote it down because she's like, look at me and tell me if you know me. And I was like, what does that mean? And the girls are like, yeah, we know you. And I was like, this is a weird conversation. I don't
Yeah.
like this at all.
I think that was movie version.
Yeah. I think this is all Sue.
Yeah.
I think this whole shit is Sue.
Yeah.
I don't think we see Nikki again until the very, very, very end of the movie. Like when credits roll. No. After the Terry Crews scene, I think is when we see Nikki. I think everything up until this point is Sue.
Yeah.
Well, Nikki in the body of Sue.
Damn. So you're saying Sue's the real person and Nikki?
No, Nikki's the real person. Sue's the cursed spirit that is using Nikki as like the storyteller.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Because like she doesn't refer to herself as Nikki, like I think for a long time.
Yeah.
And she answers to Sue exclusively.
Yeah.
And then this is where we get our actual after the whole like hot dog ketchup thing. And that was that supposed to be a foreshadowing like death? Because that was a lot of ketchup, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that was an obscene amount of ketchup to just paper towels, buddy, aren't gonna clean that up. You need a fresh shirt. You take that shirt off, you go in the house, put some shout on that shit. Maybe just throw it in the trash and just get a new shirt. You ain't saving that ketchup stained shirt. It's so bad.
That was a lot of ketchup.
That was.
Like that's like a whole bottle's worth of ketchup.
It looked like it. It's like a whole Costco sized bottle too, not even just like a regular bottle. Yeah, that was something else. And then we get our first death. The Polish lady dies.
Polish lady.
Yeah, she.
Oh, from the other story.
The other story, she gets stabbed on the stairs. It looks like she's kind of going up the same thing that Nikki was going up.
Yeah.
But she never made it to the top. She gets shivved and she just bleeds out right there on the stairs. And I think that's the original curse.
Yeah.
Because that's the first death.
Yeah.
This scene's so weird. It's like the chick looks like she's praying in church, and then we flash to her just shanking somebody in the stairwell. And then we get our first. Isn't this our first mention of the Phantom?
Is it? I don't remember what happened with.
Because right after the husband tells her about the circus animals, it says, "I have the Phantom. He can do things to people."
Oh.
The Phantom disappears, and then they talk. Then we learn that her neighbor is the Phantom. He's like a Marine from North Carolina or some shit.
Is this happening in the backyard?
Yeah, this happened in the backyard.
Okay. During the cookout.
Okay,
yeah, I'm sorry, I remember this now. I feel like some of it blends together because it's
there's so much happens.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I don't know, like what scenes are like important, not important. I don't know. They all feel like they mean something.
Yeah, everything is definitely.
But I don't understand what they mean.
Yeah.
Everything's out of there is no chronological order in this, I think, and so it's hard to follow because everything's bouncing around. I'm sure our listeners are having a great time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm sure.
It's a banger of an episode.
Oh yeah.
I stopped taking notes. Taking notes after the second hour. I was like, I'm gonna just watch this because I'm confusing myself with my note taking.
Yeah.
Oh, Gordy. Gordy's looking for a husband. He's looking for a guy. And he moved to the Inland Empire. That's where we get the title screen. Her husband's looking for a guy named Gordy.
Oh, is that when he goes to Poland?
Like they're like he drives to some like wood, like some shack in the woods.
I think he's in Poland. Yeah.
Is that when they're in Poland?
Yeah. Yeah. And he meets up with like, it looks like they're like the mafia.
This is where the creepy shit in the forest happens.
Yeah.
She's like running through the forest and she just comes and smiles at the camera. That reminded me of Smile.
Yeah.
And then the mom from Step Brothers just randomly shows up.
Right?
I like the cameos that were in this. It's like a bunch of random cameos.
And then she just comes, she's like, there's a bill that needs paying.
hmm
It's like,
That's
okay.
that's the woman that comes into the apartment asking for money, asking if Sue knows who lives there.
That's
So
right.
I think that's all part of the movie.
And then this is where we meet the neighbor Crimp,
hmm
Cramp.
Who's also the Phantom.
who's also the Phantom. This is where she gets the screwdriver because I think the light bulb he has is like for an appliance or maybe even a car or something because it's pretty small. And she grabs like this big ass screwdriver and she just runs away in fear, which is kind of crazy because like she goes to his house and he just comes from like behind a tree and like he doesn't say anything to her and she just freaks out and leaves. It's like he went to his house.
She stole his screwdriver.
Yeah, for reals. And then I wrote they have like a Texas chainsaw dinner. Like, what was up with all those old people around that table, dude?
Nice.
Like, I didn't understand this thing. Like, it's back in the husband, and he's talking to these old Polish dudes, and like, you gotta take care of business, and they give him a pistol.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what's going on? What's happening here? And I was like, I started to figure out this portion a little bit. I was like, oh, okay. So the Polish story, the husband in this story is looking for the lost girl. He's looking for his woman.
hmm
Mhm.
So that's why I took the pistol. I'm like, okay, I get that. I'm like, how does this relate to what's going on with Nikki's character, though?
Well, later on, Nikki or Sue goes into the same drawers where the pistol is. So the husband had to go do that to get the pistol, to put the pistol in the place where Nikki can get it in the future to do her thing that she needs to do.
That's right. That's right. I forgot it's Interstellar.
Yeah, it Interstellar. It becomes Interstellar. It seems like it's Inception.
Kind of.
It's definitely Interstellar.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's neither. It's Inland Empire.
You got to go inland to get to the Empire. Fuck.
Oh, shit.
bro.
Fuck. Someone pass me a St. Ides, brother. This last bit of the movie, because I think we're like in hour 3 now, right?
Yeah, for sure.
When she meets, like, for lack of a better term, just like that like gaggle of whores that are just roaming the streets of LA.
I thought those were all the same women
Fucking
that we
gaggle.
saw. I thought those were all the same sex workers that we saw.
They are
the first time. Oh, okay.
I mean, I wrote when we first saw them, like, who's these like attractive women that are like in this like house with Sue?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, they were whores the whole time. They look far less attractive now. These women look like they've been through the ringer. But it's all of them, and they're just like laughing at her.
Mhm.
And then she does that smile again, which is like super creepy. She's like, oh, I'm scared. And I was like, what is this? What is happening?
Is this where she gets stabbed?
Well, kind of, because it's weird because she's having the conversation with the horse, and then she sees herself having the conversation because he's like across the street.
Yeah.
Then we see the background because she's like running through LA, like kind of freaking out because she's saying that someone is following her, and she ends up at that club.
Yeah.
And like, if I was that bouncer, I've done that job before. Fuck no, I wouldn't let that girl in. Hell no, you're not coming in here, dude. We call the cops for you. You could chill right here and we'll call the cops, so you're not coming inside this fucking club. You look all fucked up and you're holding a fucking screwdriver. You are tripping. You're not coming in this like super fancy club that has like a burlesque show going on.
Yeah.
Wait, so she was already stabbed at this point?
No.
No.
This
Oh,
is
she was just
before.
holding the screwdriver?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's been
Running from
walking
the
around with
Phantom.
the screwdriver
Okay, I
forever.
forgot. Yeah.
Because this is how she learns about going to Jackrabbit, because the like matron of that area is like, oh, go speak to this dude.
Mhm.
So then she goes upstairs to that club, and then we kind of get a recounting of the story. This is where we learn that her husband's like, I'm infertile, dude. I can't have kids. And he just beats the fuck out of her.
Yeah.
And he leaves. And then she's like, realized that she's being like, someone's chasing her and like wants to kill her.
Mhm.
I don't remember why that lady wants to kill her, though.
because that's
That's a chick who got like she feels
That's-
like she's being hypnoptized.
That's
yeah, that's the wife.
That's the
of
wife.
the man.
Oh,
who
you're
she's having
right.
an affair with.
That's Billy's wife.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hmm.
But then we get hit with another curveball. Because I don't know, maybe I missed it. Because she tells him about, she gets the shit kicked out of him. Her man can't have kids. And then doesn't she tell Jack Rabbit, she's like, oh yeah, I'm like, my son died.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, she had a kid this whole time. When the fuck did that happen?
Hmm.
Like, was this like her past self had a kid and like he died? This is before she met her current husband when she was like just out here just boxing a bunch of dudes? Because she's got crazy relationships. Like, she tells another story about a boyfriend who like comes at her with the fucking crowbar.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I was just fucking dude. Because she's like, were you cheating on him? She's like, for drinks, it was like no big deal.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, let's go for the streets.
Well, didn't she say too? At one point, she's like, "I am a whore."
Mm-hmm. I think when she fully like embraces herself in that group of people.
Well, yeah, because then when we see the Polish chick also ends up working the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the same story.
Yeah, that's true.
Small
They're parallel.
variations of it happen to Nikki's because Nikki, by the time it gets to Nikki, there's all this other stuff that's already happened. So I think she's making some changes to it by the last time, which is Nikki's time.
Hey, watch this move. Hey. Didn't understand what that had to do with anything.
I didn't either.
David Lynch, just one line too many. Just like, check this out, guys. It's fucking snapping.
Oh, no.
That scene
that was weird.
That was weird, dude. That was weird. And then she gets shivved. It's so crazy. Like, she's holding on to that screwdriver, like white knuckling that thing. And like this late girl just like comes behind her, just fucking swoops it all quick, fucking reverses 180s, transfers it to her other hand, and just fucking stabs her straight through the gut. I was like, damn, that was impressive.
It was. She had the sleight of hand.
Yeah, she had that fucking, she rolled a 20. She had that perk maxed out. And then Nikki's just like, fucked. I kept saying, I was yelling at the TV. I was like, don't take the screwdriver out. You got to keep pressure on the wound. And it's just like walking around, like passes so many people. I'm like, tell somebody to call an ambulance.
Yeah, for real. Like everybody just leaves.
All the horrors, they just dip out. But then she like walks across the street and there's like regular people just everywhere. Well, I guess horrors are regular people too, but like there's non-sex worker people like just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she decides to like lay down next to Terry Crews and his like Japanese girlfriend.
It's such a random.
Dude, this scene is so random. When they start talking about Pomona.
Yeah.
And the bus.
And her friend with the blonde wig and a monkey.
Nico?
A monkey?
Nico?
Yeah.
And she looks so good with her blonde wig, like a movie star.
Mm-hmm.
She just lets the monkey shit everywhere.
She doesn't care because she's always high.
Oh, yeah.
And then she has a hole between her vagina and her like intestinal wall.
Oh, yeah.
And the doctors, they can fix it, but it's too expensive. So she's going to die. And Terry Crews is like, yo, what the fuck? Why are you telling us this? And she's like, yeah, but you can take a bus to Pomona for $3.50.
$3.50. Yep.
He's like, you take this bus, then you catch the subway, and you take another bus, and that'll take you to Pomona. All while Nikki's just laying there, or Sue, bleeding out, just dying. And she's talking to another homeless lady, this black lady, and she's like, you're dying. That's it. But she lights her, like she sends her away with the light of a lighter.
Yeah.
And
that was nice.
That was nice.
Then the screen pans back. You see the movie camera, and you're like, "Oh shit! It was a movie the whole time."
Yeah.
And then Jeremy Irons is like, "Great job, guys. Nikki, you were fantastic." And she's like in a zombie like trance after this.
Yeah, like she can't snap out of her character.
Yeah, I like how Jeremy Irons' character goes up to her. He's like, "Yo, what's up with Nikki?" And like he doesn't even try to help her. He just goes up to her and he's like, "You were incredible." That's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's all you get.
that's it. He got what he needed out of her,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
which is a stellar performance.
Mm-hmm.
She just Heath Ledgered the performance.
She fucking ledgered the fuck out of that shit.
Was this Terry Crews' first acting?
No. This movie came out before Friday After Next, right?
Yeah.
2006? Friday.
I think it came out before
Oh, yeah. Friday After Next came out in 02.
and then what's it called came out before this too, The Longest Yard. I think The Longest Yard came out in like 2004.
Damn, really?
I don't know if I've seen. Oh, yeah, I've seen this movie. I just haven't seen this one in a long time. 05.
05. Okay,
Oh,
came out a year
shit.
before. So Terry Crews is already working.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This is definitely before he like blew up though.
Yeah. I thought he was just like some
Like just like his small role.
like
Terry
some
Crews
like
is in there.
random like they were like actual like just people in the street that they pulled in for this movie, and it happened to be Terry Crews.
It's so
George
funny.
Clooney in Revenge
Yeah.
of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah.
My wife loves Terry Crews, and she gave up on this movie when she walked into the living room, and she's like, "What the fuck? Why is Terry Crews in this movie?" I'm like, "I don't know. He's just a bum. He's just in it for like he's been in it for like 2 minutes of the movie, and he's gone now."
Bro. He says like two things and then that's it.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it. That's finito. Oh man. And then this is where it's so up until this point, like I thought I was like, okay, that was confusing as fuck, but it was like the movie, I guess, the whole time. Like I was
Yeah.
like, oh, is that the
Yeah.
whole that was the like what a twist? Like, oh, you're just watching this really crazy movie be filmed and you're watching this actress get like lost in the role.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was happening up into this point. But then she walks into the movie theater and she's watching herself watch herself.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I'm lost again.
Yeah. I think this is like our like
This is like
Two
there's
and
like
a half.
20 minutes left, I think.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like 2.5. There's 30 minutes left. This last 30 minutes are, if anything, more confusing than all the rest of the movie that we just laid out for you guys.
It felt like it could have ended there, could have wrapped it up in like 10 minutes. Maybe she
Yeah.
got this stellar role. She gets murdered by her husband for cheating. So does Evan. And like that's the curse,
Mhm.
like repeating itself.
Mhm.
That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Yeah.
But no, then she sees Jack Rabbit and she follows him upstairs to like the back area of the movie theater, and she sees that with the axon
Mhm.
door, goes into it, and she's in like the house, right? Like the pink
The
house.
apartment. Yeah.
And then she finds the marital bed and then
But-
finds the pistola.
And
In it.
and then the Phantom comes in.
Yeah.
Phantom shit.
And he looked creepy.
He
Yeah.
does look creepy. Yeah.
Kind of
His-
reminded me like the Smile Monster.
Almost, yeah. And like there's a scene where his face, I don't know how they did it. It looked like
Overexposure almost, huh?
yeah, like his face was like another face on top of the picture that was already there. It looked really weird.
It looks like if you like you're smiling and then you move really fast during a Polaroid picture being taken,
Mhm.
and you get
Mhm.
that smudgy effect where you can kind of see the details, but they're smudged out and superimposed.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds
Yeah.
me of. For our younger audiences, back in the day, you can get a little camera, you can take a picture, and then it would print the picture out. I guess you can buy them now, but they were way more popular back then, and they are called Polaroids.
Thank you.
They don't have the big ones anymore. You can only get the little tiny ones.
They don't have big Polaroids anymore?
I mean, they probably do, but I only see the
Oh.
small ones.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the little Instax.
Yeah, little Instax. The ones that we used to get were like 4x4. I feel like like massive.
They're like a
fucking-
dinner plate.
yeah. And she just lights up the fucking Phantom,
Hell yeah.
kills him, and then she opens room 47, and the
Mhm.
door opens. It's the rabbit's room, and like there's a bright light shining through. So I thought she was gonna enter and go into the rabbit's room, but she doesn't. When she enters, she ends up where the lost girl is.
hmm
Yeah.
And the lost girl is watching all this unfold. And then she realizes, like, wait a minute, I know that hallway. She gets all excited, sits up. She comes in, they kiss. Nikki disappears. The lost girl is able to escape, and she's reunited with her husband and son.
Her dead son.
Her
Yep.
dead son. I'm guessing her husband's dead too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
More
he's
than likely.
there.
Yeah.
So it's like she leaves her little purgatory and
Mhm.
goes home. Then we see Nikki again. Did you guys watch the whole credits?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I did too.
I couldn't.
I wanted to know.
I had enough. Had enough at hour 3.
I didn't. I watched I skimmed through it, and then
I
this
watched the
morning.
whole thing.
Yeah, and then this morning I watched it again because I wanted to know if I was missing it because I had time to process.
I didn't.
I needed
Apparently,
to know.
there's a bunch of Easter eggs in there. I didn't see any of them. I didn't catch any of them.
The monkey was in it. The pet monkey.
Monkey, Nico's in it. Laura Herring's in it.
Yeah.
She looks very similar to how she looked in Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
Nikki's in it. All the whores come back, but they're pretty and dolled up and don't look like whores. They do another dance sequence. They're dancing. And then this all black female group comes out and they sing a song and they start dancing. And yeah, that happens for the entire credits.
There's also a lumberjack.
It's just song and dance?
There's a lumberjack there. He's just cutting wood. He's just sawing wood with a handsaw. He's sawing a log. Just the whole time for I don't know fucking why. Is that lumberjack from Twin Peaks or something? Because I heard that this thing references a lot of David Lynch's works. There's somebody there who's supposed to be reminiscent of someone from Blue Velvet, Laura Herring from Mulholland Drive. There's all kinds of. I don't know. Then it ends, and I apologize for this episode.
It's like a Bollywood ending.
There is a mill in Twin Peaks that gets.
Yeah, that's right. There's a mill.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah.
That's the movie.
That's the movie.
That's the movie.
That's the movie.
Yeah, it was confusing. I'm confused. I feel like I understand it a little bit more now than I did yesterday.
Same.
I've been thinking about it all day.
Yeah.
You guys definitely helped me understand it more than I did.
I do know though
earlier
because a couple videos that I saw said different things about how the story plays out, but I do think that the Lost Girl and the Polar story are the Lost Girl's the main girl who's her soul is lost. The Polar story is just another continuation. It's the same story of the Lost Girl, but just in another time era. And then Sue's story is the movie version of the
Lost Girl.
Of the Lost Girl. And then Nikki is actually experiencing everything that the Lost Girl is going through, but she's also getting lost in the movie itself. But she's really, it's the same story. So
so you think it's the same story happening 3 times to all 3 women?
Yeah, but the difference is that Nikki has the help of the Lost Girl and all the other women that have died before. So she's taking all this different advice where at the very last part where she's supposed to die, she actually gets helped and she has the gun and she kills the Phantom, which breaks the curse. That's what I think went on.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I saw one person's explanation. I agree with said the same thing with the Lost Girl and that being her in some kind of purgatory. Her soul's lost and she's basically a prisoner of the Phantom. I understood that the Nikki movie was based that all the Polar scenes is basically you get the origin story. This is what happened to the Lost Girl. She lost her marriage, but the Lost Girl's the one who killed the wife, isn't it? Or is the Lost Girl the girl who got shanked in the stairs?
I don't remember who stabs the wife.
Well, so,
I don't know.
Whoever gets stabbed in the stairs, I don't remember if that was the Lost Girl dying and then that's her kind of being prisoner of the Phantom, he has her soul now.
Yeah.
So I understood the Polish scene was all about her, what happened to her, how did this all come to be?
Yeah. So
the Nikki thing, that's interesting. I didn't see that Nikki was also reliving, having the affair, having her, basically about to be murdered by the wife, but I guess in her case, it's her husband who's going to murder her because Evan doesn't have a wife. Okay. So you're saying all 3 women are living the same story.
Yeah.
So Nikki's acting the story while also living the story in her
Yeah.
real life. But then she still ends up at the Doheny mansion. So like he just
Oh,
forgave her.
so then the last part is that all of this is a warning by the visitor. The whole movie was a fucking story being told by the visitor of like, this is what's going to happen to you if you do this. Because look, tomorrow you're going to be sitting over there, and then the movie really begins, right?
Mhm.
And then when
Yeah.
it ends, it goes back to Nikki being back in the house,
Yeah, and she's sitting
and
over
like,
there, but
and like
her
she's
homegirls aren't there.
and she, yeah, so she's sitting over there, but no one else is there with her. So it's just like the next day she ended up not taking the role, and so the movie, like, it's okay. She like avoided the curse,
But also broke it.
but also broke it potentially in her own like world. I think
Mm,
it's really, it's kind of fuzzy for me, but that
it's
was what I thought. That
convoluted.
was like my first thought was like, oh damn, was all of this almost like a pseudo dream, like we were told,
Final Destination and shit.
yeah, by this like old woman that comes into the house, like, don't do this or else all this shit's gonna happen. And then after talking through all of this, like, or talking through it and also reading stuff and watching videos of stuff, I feel like my idea of like all of these stories are the same and everything's in a circle kind of makes sense. I feel like maybe the last piece of it not really happening doesn't make sense, but also I feel like it could, because why not? Everything's up for interpretation here. We're
Yeah.
fucking crazy world now.
And then I know some people I read said that they think the story is about reincarnation
I could see like
Yeah.
each woman is a different reincarnated person of the person before.
of the
But that
Lost
would be
Girl
kind of fucked up if they're reliving the same life
because of the curse.
over.
Well,
Oh,
They're
because of the
cursed to
curse.
relive the same thing.
this place is cursed.
And
Air
then
is
Laura
cursed.
Dern's character breaks the curse.
Broke it. Okay.
And then that's why all the women are there celebrating, except the Lost Girl isn't there.
Oh yeah. Oh, because she went back to her husband.
Her soul moved on.
Yeah, she moved
Yeah.
on. Damn, all of that makes sense. Hell yeah, we did it,
Everything
guys.
led to this.
Look at us.
That was just one person's interpretation.
Oh,
And then the other one talks about how the movie touches on human trafficking.
I like that interpretation. It actually made sense.
Well,
yeah.
because David Lynch is a big like reincarnation guy. He's really into like
Yeah.
some I forget which like philosophical thought or whatever.
I know he's into meditation, like really heavy
Yeah.
meditation, where
Yeah.
Okay.
you can like transport your consciousness elsewhere and stuff like that. It's really cool. I kind of want to look into
He
it.
said that plays a role in this movie, and it feels like her. That's what I was saying. Like to me, it felt like
Mm,
Nikki like was being like intertwined with Sue, but also like reliving moments of the Lost Girl story.
mhm.
So I was like, oh, is she like taking her place in some of these moments? Because then you would see moments where like Sue / Nikki would snap out of it, and it would be the Polish girl like in the middle of this snowstorm. Like, whoa, why is it a different character now?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so she like was her for a bit, and now she's not. She got kicked out. She was like John Malkoviching it.
Mm, I can see that. That's a really cool interpretation of it too.
Yeah. All of these are honestly better than being confused.
Yeah,
I mean, I am still kind of confused,
for sure. Same. Like,
and
what's up with the
definitely,
rabbits?
I having to like read other people's interpretation help me kind of make sense of it. Like
Yeah.
when it ended, the only thing that I like kind of understand, I'm like, okay, so like they were all kind of having like the story was the movie. I get that, and like that girl like went to heaven. Like what happened with the kid and her husband? Like okay, like we know they died. I guess she moved on. So the Phantom was real. Like this was actually like a horror movie all along, not which is doesn't really play out like a horror movie, but it kind of does.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, but then like, what does all the other shit mean? Like, what happened to Nikki's character? Like, did she survive in the real world? Did she die too? But she managed to defeat the Phantom in like the spectral world. Like, what happened?
Hmm. I think I would like to think that like Nikki lived, and I think though when we see her die in the movie, like maybe she fully understands at that point in time, like the full cycle of the curse, and like this is what happens at the very end, so you're gonna die.
Because Sue dies, but Nikki
Because
lives.
Sue dies, yeah. So like Nikki just like locks in, and maybe is like overtaken by like Sue and all the other women to like finally fully overcome the Phantom in the real current timeline. And because she defeats the Phantom, she's able to like go on and live her life
It
and like
resets or something.
and like be happy, yeah, or something like that. Like I think it's a happy ending for Nikki and a bad ending for the Phantom.
Yeah, it's definitely a happy ending from Nikki. She looks happy, like surrounded by all her buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy movie though.
Yeah.
Way, 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 way
This
more out there than Mulholland Drive was.
it didn't make me feel
Yeah.
as like unsettled and uncomfortable than Eraserhead and Mulholland Drive did. I feel like this one, to me, it feels like a little bit more nicely wrapped up.
I completely disagree on that point.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I felt
Yeah.
like Eraserhead was like really, really weird for sure. But
Yeah.
it had a pretty good, clear through line. Like, oh, this movie is kind of about the anxiety of this dude becoming a father, and then like him having this like he sees his child as like a monster, and like his fucking he gets his girl pregnant, and like he basically takes on the fatherly role, and him dealing with that reality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And ends up he's bad at it. His kid dies, and he kills himself. Like I was like, okay, I kind of get that, but it's done in like a really creepy, surreal way.
Mhm.
Like I understood like Eraserhead a little bit more. Um, like the undertone. I got like what the message was. I didn't understand all the visual stuff, and like reading up on it like definitely helped like refine my understanding.
Mhm.
Mulholland Drive I thought was also kind of confusing, but Mulholland Drive didn't like creep me out. It didn't make me feel like unsettled. I was just kind of
Yeah.
confused.
Mhm.
This movie confused the shit out of me pretty much the entire time, except for like maybe the realization, like, oh, Nikki and Sue, this is just a movie.
Yeah.
And then the last half hour kind of just reconfused me because I was like, okay, what does all this mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I guess it wasn't just a movie, like it did actually happen. Like,
Okay. No, you're right. I maybe because I
I
like
didn't even grade this movie.
I like the I like
What?
it's hilarious because you typically come into these with the grade already in mind. So
I
nice.
came in, I was talking to my wife and she was like, would you grade it? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a grade for it. Like, I don't know.
For all of our
Shit.
listeners, this movie was not only a first for David Lynch, this is a first for the Dale, in that he came into this and he's gonna give us a grading live. We're about to hear a live grading right now. I like the meta story within the story. Maybe that's what I like the most about it, is that it to me it that feels complete. That like there was like a movie telling us
Yeah,
about
the
a
Sue
curse,
Nikki sticky
and like
that made sense.
yeah,
The
I feel
first
like
2.5 hours.
I feel like that
Yeah.
ties up like really nicely. And you're right. The other stuff doesn't, but I think I enjoyed that piece about this movie like a lot. That there was like a whole like story within a story that's like kind of like slightly intertwined with like time travel or maybe like different universe travel. Like there's something different going on, but it to me it feels like that got like wrapped up, and that was like a nice thing, and it kind of ends in like a good way, in a way where like it doesn't end to me like there's like dread or anything like that, whereas like
No, this one has a happy ending for
yeah,
sure.
the other ones
The
like
other two did not. Eraserhead and Mulholland Drive did not have happy endings.
yeah, those made me feel really like I had to like watch something after to like feel better, whereas this one I didn't have to do that because it was just like okay, like there's a dance party, like they're actually like okay, like it ended like kind of well. So yeah, I think that's what I like. Not the it. I'm still confused though. Like what's up with those rabbits?
All right, so this movie had a budget of 2.9 to 3 million. David Lynch did a lot of the funding, and he managed to own the like get the whatever he didn't own outright was I think like a collab through like Paris, Poland, a couple other people contributed, but he managed to get the DVD and like digital rights. This movie was actually released digitally. and on DVD, which is weird because like in 2006 that wasn't that common
Mm,
to it be on a digital storefront. Like, what was a movie digital storefront back then?
iTunes.
Oh yeah, iTunes or maybe like was I don't think they Yahoo Movies maybe.
Yeah, I think that was
I
it.
don't even think Google Movies was a thing. Amazon hadn't become Amazon yet. YouTube didn't release till 2009.
Yeah, I did.
And
I did see through watching one of the video essays that I guess
YouTube was wild.
there was a
Sorry.
part of there was a point in time where you could watch this whole movie on YouTube because it was
Yeah, could watch anything on YouTube for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
it was
That's how I saw Party Monster.
it's true.
Damn, you saw Party Monster on YouTube?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh man. But it only made 4 mil, so it didn't. That was just on theatrical. I don't know how much it's made like streaming and like DVD sales, but it definitely didn't make a lot of money. And did you hear about David Lynch try to promote the film and Laura Dern's like Oscar bid by sitting on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard?
With a cow.
With a
The
cow.
fucking cow.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that's all my interesting facts.
Same.
Oh, well, one I had. So Lynch's sell to Laura Dern is he called her up and he said, you want to come and experiment?
Oh.
That's how they made the movie.
Nice.
All right. All right, let's get to our reviews. All right. So this movie actually, I feel like David Lynch movies get rated pretty well. I'm surprised at this one score. So Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 72%. So, they have it as like a passing movie with a 6.8 on IMDb. So, it's like they have it as a okay movie.
Yeah.
All right. So, Sam, why don't you start it off? I feel like you have the best understanding of the movie between the three of us. So, give us your score.
Thank you for giving me the honor and consideration of having the best understanding when I feel like I'm still pretty confused. I mean, yes and no. There's confusing parts of this movie. It's a David Lynch movie, so get ready for that whenever you watch it. If you do watch it, you're gonna be confused. But I now knowing what David Lynch movies are and like what his type of like work is, I think I now come to expect to be entertained and also be confused at the same time. And I enjoy it because I think his movies are made to be enjoyed with like a community of people. So then you can like talk about it and like have really good conversations and build more understandings. I think that I'm trying to like think like you said, he's like a director's director where like he makes movies for like the enjoyment of like multiple people, so like everyone can go in and have different interpretations of it and enjoy different pieces of it or different scenes from it and all that stuff. And I think just our conversation is kind of like a perfect example of that, where we all kind of understood different pieces, or maybe we didn't but now we do because we've talked about it so much. So I love the like art style of it, the period that it takes place in. It's like a really like modern day, but then it also goes kind of back in time in Poland. I like all of that. I like the music. That's like really creepy and eerie and kind of sets the tone of being like a what the fuck like mystery movie. The acting I think is really spot on because it like in Eraserhead, and a little bit of Mulholland Drive, it makes you feel almost like you're in a dream. Like it's really like there's a lot of silence in between a lot of the dialogue that they have with each other, and people's body movements I think are really great. So the acting for me was awesome. I'm gonna give this movie a B.
Ooh, a B.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I want to enjoy it. I thought I would enjoy it more, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I did, but I still enjoyed it. It's not to say that I didn't enjoy this movie because I really did. That's why I'm giving it a B. But it's definitely confusing, and I think it helps to have friends or family or whoever you talk to about movies with after you finish watching them to do that. Because if not, you're going to be sitting on this movie thinking like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" I think, like I mentioned before, like talk about it and have a good time, kind of like interpreting it, because I think that's what he makes his movies for. I'd recommend this movie for someone who likes David Lynch movies. It's a little bit more like niche, and I don't think it's like an easy sell to everybody. So yeah, take that into consideration. But I give it a B.
Rank them out of the three we've seen. Where do you put this one?
I don't remember my other grades for the other movies, but just considering this, I would say Eraserhead is is my number one. This movie and then Mulholland Drive.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I probably have the same thing. All right, Twan, let's go next.
What a movie! First of all, I will say this: talking about it with you guys, or hearing you guys talk about it, definitely helped me understand the movie as a whole more. Because, like I said earlier, I watched it today, so I feel like I didn't have enough time to process what the hell I watched. But you guys, you brought me there. There's a lot to say about this movie. It's just another one of those Lynchian movies that leaves it up to viewer interpretation, as you said. The way David Lynch is able to make a film in such a way that leaves more questions than answers is quite the feat. To me, this movie felt like a 3-hour version of Eraserhead, in the sense that it gave off this like intense surrealistic feeling that made it like difficult to discern dreams from reality. But it's not like Eraserhead. It just like kind of evoked the same feeling. This movie was, to me, confusing, oddly paced at times, and a bit anticlimactic. But that may be just because I'm a novice when it comes to film and film critique. But I don't know. I don't imagine people watching this and then standing up and clapping at the end of the movie, like it wasn't in like a normal sense, like a good movie. But I think like maybe that's the point. I don't know. This movie was definitely weird and long. It was 3 hours, as we've said multiple times. With all of that being said, I give this movie a solid D. It was too bold of a film for me. And again, that's maybe just due to my inability to understand the movie. All I know is that I think I'm done with Lynch for a while, unless the wheel picks it. But I think the only thing that I want to watch of Lynch going forward is probably Dune. And the reason behind that is, I think, because he has source material to reference. So like he probably doesn't go all crazy Lynch with it. But yeah, I give this movie a D.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, I'll
Also,
finish
wait,
this off. Go ahead.
Don't put yourself down, because none of us are like
None of us are film critics.
movie critics.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a weird movie.
Yeah. No, 100% weird movie.
All right, I'll finish this off. So like I said earlier, when I finished this movie, I didn't have a grade for it. I came away with kind of the same feeling that I had after we saw Mulholland Drive. Was like, I don't think I like Lynch movies. Like I did, like, I've seen Dune, and his version of Dune I think is like okay. I think the Denis Villeneuve movies are better. Denis Villeneuve. I did really like Eraserhead, though. I thought Eraserhead was actually like pretty sick, which is interesting because that was also kind of like a self-funded movie. So, like when I was watching this, I was like, this movie could really have benefited from like some editing, like somebody to come and kind of like rein him in a little bit, be like, yo, like they kind of did, like he didn't have anyone to tell him what to do, like he did it himself. So it was just like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. Okay, I say this with a grain of salt. It didn't feel like a 3-hour movie to me, but I did watch it in 3 separate parts, so that's probably why. The acting, Laura Dern was very good in this movie. She seemed just as confused, and she is on the record. Her and Thoreau are both on the record being like, "I don't know what this movie was about." So,
Damn.
I enjoyed the acting. I enjoyed parts of this movie. I was confused for a lot of it. I mean, since I did watch it in 3 parts, I definitely had time to like kind of marinate in it and like think about it and like analyze it and like compare what I saw with what I've read other people's like interpretation, be like, do I really see that in this movie? And that made me kind of appreciate it a little bit more. But I did like Eraserhead and Mulholland Drive more than this movie. So I would rank this movie at like a C plus. It was like it was at moments it was cool. And after the conversation, I think I had it like a solid C. I was like, it's like a take it or leave it type movie. It's like okay. It's like a 7 out of 10, but I'd say it's more like a 7.7. It's like a low C plus. It's just like it's really, really fucking hard to follow. Maybe it's one of those movies you have to watch multiple times and you kind of pick up on the threads more, but I don't know if I want to watch a 3-hour movie multiple times that doesn't have like Frodo in it.
Yeah,
Like,
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
like that's like it's a lot. It's a big commit. That being said though, like the movie did make me, like Twan said, like it did make me uncomfortable and like reminiscent to Eraserhead. Like I was just kind of like, ooh, especially like some of those smiling scenes got me. I was like, oh shit.
For real.
But the movie was confusing, but the acting was great. The soundtrack was weird as fuck. I didn't really like it, and I liked the soundtrack in Mulholland Drive and in Eraserhead a lot. I didn't really like the soundtrack in this movie. Parts of this movie just felt like it was being like avant-garde just to be avant-garde, and like that's okay. Like this movie just wasn't really for me. Would I recommend it? If you like Lynch and you like these more like surrealist type movies and you want to see like a real like I don't mean this in a negative, but like an artsy type movie, like check it out. I think the comparison to it being kind of like interstellar-y, like Inception-y is actually like as we've talked about it, like it is kind of like that. It's like if David Lynch made that type of movie. This is kind of what you get with Inland Empire. And if you only know Laura Dern from Jurassic Park, man, that woman can act. She's pretty good in this movie. But yeah, I mean, it's a tentative recommended. I think it's really for a specific type of person. If you're like just a normal like I don't say normal, but for like your general moviegoer, I don't think this is the movie for you. Oh, you got to be like it's like for like a film person. I'm with Twan. I hope we get a Lynch break for a bit, but we'll see what the Will says. But yeah, C plus. All right, shall we will it and deal it?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna laugh if we get like Lost Highway or something.
No, this is the week that we finally get the movie of my dreams.
What do you think we're gonna get, Twan?
I think we're gonna get horror.
Pulse.
But I don't think it's gonna be Pulse.
Son of a bitch. Trusted you.
I think we are going to get Ed Wood.
Damn, specific.
Hey, we've been like on the fringe of getting Ed Wood a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like it's been like within 1 or 2 ticks.
And here we go.
Almighty wheel.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna fucking laugh if it's a David Lynch movie again. I think the only one we have left on here is Lost Highway.
Come on, wheel.
I think Dune's on there too.
Oh yeah, Dune too, but I like Dune.
I got a rec from a coworker. He said The Call. It's a 2020 movie. It's on Netflix. It's a Korean psychological thriller. It has like a 90 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Like to add to the list?
No, just in general, like a good psychological thriller. New one.
The Call?
Let's will it up.
The Call. Yeah, it's a Korean.
Pie day, and I got a pie date.
Korean psychological thriller.
All right, let's go.
What kind of pie?
Bing, 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 bing.
Pizza pie. Super. Ready to rumble. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Hey. American History. Oh, nice. That's such a good movie.
Ready.
Or maybe it's not.
Rumble. Oh, that's a horrible Rotten Tomatoes score. Ready to rumble. Let's go. That's a palate cleanser. Hell yeah. Let's go.
The 2000 movie.
With Scott Conn.
David Arquette.
Let's wrap it up. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Next week, we are going to cover the 2000 comedy Ready to Rumble. This is a silly ass fucking movie. I'm curious because I loved this movie as a kid because it's a fucking wrestling movie. I'm curious to see if it holds up. I feel like a lot of these jokes are going to be dated, but I'm excited to watch it. It stars David Arquette, so you're getting that quality of film. But this week we watched a real avant-garde flick, David Lynch's Inland Empire. Rest in peace. Guy had a brilliant mind, had some crazy stuff. This movie was bad. He really stepped it up from Mulholland Drive. I didn't think he could make a more like insanely crazy movie in a good way, but still insane. It got a B from Saya, a C plus from me, and a D to Twan. We all say, we recommend it if you like these types of movies. So it's like a tentative recommend.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to support the pod, you can do so by clicking the donation link at the bottom of each episode. But if you can't donate, that's totally cool. We love making the pod. We love joining you guys each week and talking about movies. If you haven't done so already, please give us a follow on our social medias. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, Threads, YouTube. I think that's all of them. Feel blank. I'm tired. As always, I've been your host, The Dale, followed by my two co-hosts, Mr. Saya
Adios.
and Twan.
Bye.
See you guys next week. Bye.